Hello, I'm Merv Daugherty, Superintendent of Chesterfield County Public Schools. Thanks for joining us for one of our sessions with our chiefs for the school district as we talk about the preparations for our school districts through each department. I'm pleased to have Bob Meister with us, our Chief Financial Officer, and we are excited to talk about budgets and funding of schools and what we've done with our federal money, such as you hear, as the ESSER funds. So Bob, welcome aboard and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Daugherty. Happy to be here.
So a lot of people really don't understand how your department works with payrolls and budgets and planning and the processes of everything, how the district works, which is probably one of the most important facets of our school district. So how is your department prepared our school district for this coming year?
Thank you. Great question, Dr. Daugherty. I think you can think about teachers are preparing lesson plans, bus drivers are preparing routes, our kitchen staff is getting the kitchens ready, while our finance and budget staff are really focused on two things. One, there's closing out last year's fiscal year. There's a lot of numbers to crunch for that. But more importantly, our budget staff is really looking forward to the next financial planning process, right? School year 22-23, what are our budget looking like? What are our key priorities? Making sure that we are staying aligned with that. And as we think about that process, I'm really excited to kick that off and looking forward to present your proposed budget in January, where I know you're really excited about looking at compensation. We took a big step forward on that in this last budget cycle, focusing on teacher and other instructional personnel. That was a multi-year plan we laid out last year. We're looking to take that to the next year, and we're also looking at other compensation exercises as well this next year.
Yeah, and I just want to especially thank Dr. Joe Casey and Mr. Matt Harris and the Board of Supervisors for just an outstanding partnership and working together and trying to stay ahead of this game of correcting things that have happened over a decade with the salaries of teachers and staff, and the commitment they have given us to work towards solutions over a multi-year plan. And I think it shows that the partnership is strong with the county government and the schools, which is good for the county as overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes to the other piece of the budget and priorities is really continuing to work with Dr. Casey, Mr. Harris, the rest of the Board of Supervisors on really pushing the ball forward on not just the operations, but also the construction, the building renovation plans that we have in store. And I'm really excited about where that's going to go over the next years as well.
Great. So Chesterfield County receives millions of dollars from the federal government, like everyone else in COVID relief, from people who've heard of CARES money to ESSER funding. How are we using the money?
Yeah, thank you. Great question. I think the important thing to remember, when we started to receive this funds early in the pandemic, we really focused those funds on ensuring our buildings were safe, clean, well prepared, maintained, and ensuring that our kids who weren't going to be in class for a while had a great experience online. So it really boils down to, first and foremost, making sure, as I said, the buildings were safe, making sure that we had the right custodial staff, making sure that we had adequate PPE, really looking hard at our HVAC systems to ensure that air quality was where it needed to be. That was probably the first and foremost thing that we looked at with those early CARES dollars. As we looked at, okay, now we've got our buildings clean, we've got our kids learning online, what do we need to do to make sure that their experience is absolutely the best it can be? So what do? We invested heavily in that technology aspect that was needed. We spent a lot of money on Chromebooks. We bought tens of thousands of Chromebooks to make sure that each of our kids had a Chromebook and had ability to access what is also another key priority, great software, great digital learning tools and apparatuses to ensure that their learning was as great as it could be. As we look forward, as we think about online learning, we're really excited about what that looks like next year as well. We know that some of our kids and families aren't yet comfortable coming back into the classroom. That's why you've set up this virtual learning academy. We're looking to invest some of this CARES, some of this federal dollars into standing up what is essentially an opportunity for those kids to learn and learn really well at home and have dedicated teachers there to work with them so that they have a great experience. This has a benefit obviously to those kids that are online, but also to those in the building. We're not having our teachers teach two different platforms. Their teachers are in the buildings, they're going to teach those kids that are in the buildings. Those kids that are online, they're going to have a dedicated online teacher next year. We're really excited about using some of that federal funding really to support both of those needs as we go forward. And the last thing, as I think about our overall CARES and ESSER funding is really thinking about that learning loss that occurred over this past year. We all know it's going to take a long time to catch up. And what we've really done is leaned into that. We had a really robust summer school program this past year. We're continuing to invest in after-school programs, tutoring, differential support to those schools and areas that need it most, whether it be from a mental health standpoint, from a special education standpoint, from just learning catch-up. You've got a program where you're bringing in additional support for those children who are at risk of not completing their graduation year. We're going to go out and meet those kids where they are and trying to make sure that they are coming back. So that's all really kid-focused. We've also got a lot of other needs that we're looking to address across the district that's going to impact the quality of our education as well.
Thank
Bus,
you.
oh, please.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say bus drivers, as an example, food service, custodial. It's a tough job market out there. We've set aside some of these CARES funds to ensure that we're recruiting and investing in those positions as best we can. We've got an incentive for those positions on the books to hopefully encourage them to come back. We've got people in the schools with high English language learner populations to really help improve the communication, ensure that those groups are engaged in the schools as they go forward. There's just so many good things happening with this money. I'll stop there, but I think there's a ton of great opportunities.
And thanks for sharing that. There's a lot of avenues as you look at a school system of needs, and you continue to look at the issues. And as we continue to move forward, as we continue to evaluate what we do, you see these little cracks in the wall that you want to try to fill in, knowing that down the road we will have to build these into the budget, just as we did with our nurses and our counselors. We built them into the budget with some federal money in the beginning to see how the program worked, which we will evaluate all of these little programs that are put together, that when you put them together really enhance what happens at a school system. And just so you know, parents and students watching, that we will continue to use our funding to make sure that our air filters are properly installed, yes, that the cleaning still occurs, the mitigation factors are still taking place, and that will be a constant issue. We've already built a lot of that into our budget to maintain that through the operations piece, but it starts here with making sure we have the money in the funds, in the budget, to make sure things occur. So let's hear the latest great news about our food and nutrition services. So, you know, we offer breakfasts, lunch, and some places we even offer dinners. Yeah,
absolutely. Really excited. The USDA recently has announced that the free school lunches, school breakfast program that was in place during the pandemic has been extended to the next upcoming 21-22 school year. So all of our children, should they choose, will have a free breakfast and lunch available for them at the schools. I will also encourage, while I have this time to talk to you and talk to the community, while school lunches will be free in the buildings, please also take this as an opportunity to complete those free and reduced lunch forms for your enrollment in that. No, you don't need that to get a free lunch at the school, but there are a ton of other benefits that accrue to the community, to the schools as a result of that, including PEBT benefits. And I would be remiss not to also mention our food and nutrition staff is really excited heading into the next year. We have an award-winning farm-to-table program, which really is about bringing great fresh produce into the cafeteria. We've won awards on this. It's bringing those produce in. It's also educating our students on the importance of nutrition. And our staff has done a great job of really reaching out, doing more than just serving the lunch in the moment, but also providing that extra educational opportunities as well.
Yeah, it is amazing. During the pandemic, I think we served over 3 million meals to our families over that time period. And
it's up to 7 now.
Up to 7 million. So you think about what only during the pandemic, but through this time period that we have been back to school somewhat, we continue not only to serve our students in the buildings, but serve our families who were not in the schools, who were doing virtual and that needed this food. So we have an unbelievable nutrition staff. They do a great job, and we just want to thank our hardworking staff members for what they do, because without them, you know, our children would go hungry. And breakfast is important, and they do a great job in the breakfast program. Lunches, they do a great job, but just making sure that if you're in school or you're at home, that we have great opportunities to feed your children.
Awesome. And one other thing to add on that's great. The other thing that we're going to keep doing this upcoming year is we're going to keep our curbside services available. We're still working through the logistics, which buildings and at which times, but we're going to make sure that we're going to have those meals available for those kids that aren't yet ready to come back in the building. So it's not just about being in the building, we're going to provide it to the community that way as well.
And it's just not during the school day that we provide meals, because we'll also provide the meals for the weekend as well. Am I correct with that, Bob?
Within certain approved schools, yes.
Yes, thank you for that. And that information always comes out to all of our families, and it's easy to get information from us. One is every Friday we put out a family memo for families, information that directly relates to the family and the children. We also put out news releases every Wednesday, plus our website has information that's updated and constantly giving you the areas and times and things that we have to do with nutrition as well. So we've been working very hard with the county government and our partnership. How do you work? How does your team work with the county government for our budget process?
No, it's a fantastic question. As we've said before, but just so the public knows, we get roughly half of our local operating funds from the state. The other half comes from the county. So it's really important that me and my team, as well as you and the school staff, work closely with the county. We have a great relationship with Matt Harris, my counterpart at the county side, as well as the leadership over there in the Board of Supervisors. So we work closely with them over the summer as we lead into the budget to really make sure they understand what our needs, what our priorities are as we get into the budget cycle. No, we don't always see eye to eye at the first pass, but we work really closely together to make sure that our needs are known, they understand, and I totally understand that they have constraints on their side as well. We work really hard to make sure that at the end of the day, we're using those taxpayer dollars in the best way possible so that it really works on both sides.
Yes, and in that partnership, I mean, we have some projects that we're working with.
Absolutely.
We're looking at our stadiums and as much as they're being used, but we want to look at some upgrades and even look at turf fields because the county has a great investment into sports management and sports tourism, and we can help the county benefit from that by them working with us to put some turf fields in over a period of time. And then the fields not only used for the high schools and sporting events and their activities, but for tournaments and things that go on that benefit all the children and people in Chesterfield County. And I think that's something that we're looking forward to. And the opportunities that we have to look at new construction projects that will be coming down the road that will help us add more schools to the system, I think is extremely important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And our relationship with the county is critical to make sure that that is understood. You mentioned the turf fields, you mentioned building construction. There's a lot of other sort of fantastic ideas that are out there that I'm really looking forward to digging into this budget cycle, sharing those with you, with the public, with our board to make sure that we continue to make great progress. I'm excited about all of it.
And Bob's department really makes sure that each of our other departments stay within their budget constraints and that we follow all the guidelines. I think we get audited all the time to make sure that we are following the rules, which is important for us because we want to follow every rule to the letter of the law. And with Bob, he's doing a great job as CFO and his team. And we are looking forward to this school year to making sure that we provide the needs that are available to the students and the staff and the parents to make sure it's a great learning opportunity. Bob, is there anything else you'd like to add from your department standpoint?
Just that I'm really excited to be here, really excited to kick off this next budget cycle. There's been some great partnership, as you've mentioned, between us and the county, and really looking forward to making progress on some of those key priorities for the district.
Well, I want to thank you for being with us today, and thank you for joining us today for this short discussion on the possibilities of the future, but also what we do with budget and finance and how Bob makes sure we follow the rules and regulations, make sure your child has a great learning experience, and that our teachers and everyone else have safe environments as well through the mitigation services that we provide with COVID funding. So thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.